Hey, what's up guys? This is Steel Rain and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be looking at 5 different VTXs and their power outputs. Now this could be important to you and be a priority in your build if you race with friends, because if you put these things at 25 milliwatts or you're a professional racer and a lot of times they require 25 milliwatts, you could be flagged at a race. So it's not going to work out too well for you if you have a VTX that's either way underpowered or way overpowered at 25 milliwatts. And also if you're using, I don't know, say like one of these more powerful VTXs that are supposed to put out a lot more milliwatts on a long range build, and it doesn't quite put out what it's supposed to, that's not going to be good. But then again, if it puts out more, that'll be even better. So today what we're going to be using is the ImmersionRc RF Power Meter with a 30 dB attenuator. And what we're going to do, because these attenuators here, have I guess a reputation for not quite being around 30 dB. So I'm going to use a TBS Unify high volt race, and quality VTX is going to give us a baseline to test the rest of these. Now the rest of these in this lineup right here is the new Smart Audio RaceDayQuads Mach 2 that has 4 different power settings. You have the AKK FX2 that I've done a review on all these, by the way, except for the Eachine TX03. But we have the Matek high volt 40 channel Smart Audio VTX. It actually uses Tramp, but we're going to test that. The Eachine TX03, and how I have them wired up on this rig is a PDB. The main battery voltage will be fed in here, and I have all the VTXs hooked up to the ESC pad. So full battery power on 4S is what we're going to be testing these things on. The only one that's different is the Eachine TX03, which requires 5 volts. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to cut away for a second. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the meter to get a baseline to the TBS at 200 milliwatts, and we'll see where it sits from there. Okay guys, as you can see here, we're getting a good baseline off of a very quality, high quality and well known, for putting out its close to its, if not more than its actual, its milliwatt output, the TBS Unify High Volt Race. And as you can see, it's been plugged in for about a minute now, hovering somewhere. You can see right now it's kind of bouncing around, but it's around 10 to 15 milliwatts over 200. Perfectly acceptable. And I'm also going to state all these VTXs are going to be set to their center frequency of 5.8 gigahertz. That way it makes things nice and even. And of course, yeah, you go down or up in bands, it changes the power slightly. But a good VTX will not allow that to happen. But to keep it all fair and to keep this video as short as possible, and just to do an apples to apples comparison, they're all going to be set at 5.8 gigahertz. So as you can see right now, jumping around. As it warms up, it might go down a little bit, but as it is right now, this is kind of the worst case scenario. There's no airflow. They're very temperature sensitive. Once they have no airflow, they start heating up. So most of the time they're going to have some airflow and give off a little bit better numbers. But as you can see, quality, it's hovering around 200 milliwatts for this one. So what we're going to go ahead and do is start hooking these up one by one. And what we're going to do is test the lowest power output they have, most of them 25 milliwatts, and also the highest, just to get a comparison. Okay guys, I've got everything set up here. I've got it all powered up and everything. And the first one we're going to test is the RaceDayQuads Mach 2. It is sitting at 25 milliwatts right now on 5.8 gigahertz center frequency exactly. And as you can see, it's hovering somewhere around 32.60 right now, holding pretty steady. It's not really bouncing around too much. So right now it's putting out, a little bit higher, about 7 milliwatts higher, no big deal there. It's not going to bleed and put that much power out and bleed that much over onto other people's frequencies. So doing pretty well there. We're going to go ahead and bump it up to its highest at 800 milliwatts. So I'll push and hold this. Let it sit there. And as you can see, it's a little bit underrated. It's sitting at 571.67 milliwatts. So, a couple hundred less. Also, as it heats up, it's going to start dropping, as you can see now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is stop the video, unhook this one, and go to the next one, and we'll see how it does. All right, guys. Now we have the AKK FX2, smart audio 40-channel stackable VTX setup here, and as you could currently see, it's flashing on one, which is 25 milliwatts, and it's got some abysmal performance, sitting at somewhere around 9 milliwatts. I mean, that's pretty unacceptable. It's about 15 milliwatts lower than it should be. And if you're flying with friends that have 25 milliwatts, you're probably going to get some ghosting in your FPV video and some other problems. They're probably going to drown you out. So what we're going to go ahead and do is test its highest at 800 milliwatts and see where it goes from there. Okay, I've now got it on, of course, F4, which is 5.8 gigahertz at the fourth power level, 800 milliwatts, and supposed to be 800, guys, but looky there, 211 milliwatts. That is not good at all. I'm actually going to go ahead and see where it's sitting, where it's supposed to be at 200 milliwatts. So when it's at a 200 milliwatt setting, it's sitting around 140 milliwatts. Not bad, but not the best either. I believe the next jump up is 500 milliwatts, so we'll test that as well, because this one just seems really off. That one jumps up to around 200, so that one's about off by 300 milliwatts as well. Not very good. I was expecting a lot more from this VTX, and it just not very good, not stellar performance whatsoever. And like I said, when I jump it up to its highest setting at 800 milliwatts, it's only hovering around 200. So we're going to call it quits for the AKK FX2, and not impressed with it whatsoever. So next we'll go on to the Matek. All right, guys, the Matek 40-channel smart audio VTX is now hooked up and set at 25 milliwatts, and as you can see, it's hovering somewhere around 12 to 13 milliwatts. Still pretty unacceptable. To myself, that's, it's more than half the amount of power it's supposed to have. That's, personally I was expecting more out of this VTX. I'm not sure why it's so low. So what we're going to go ahead and do is up it to 500 milliwatts. Set it there. And as you can see, it's hovering about 250 milliwatts, so exactly half. That must be the current trend with this VTX. So, not getting anywhere near what it's supposed to be getting, which is kind of disappointing. Go ahead and try 200 milliwatts and see what that actually outputs. That's really bad as well. So this VTX is outputting around 80 milliwatts, less than half on its 200 milliwatts output. Pretty disappointing. But there's a reason why I'm doing this testing here, guys, is kind of clarify some things and show you what's going to be best for your build. A lot of guys get on TBS about their price, and some guys agree with Trappy, and some don't. A lot don't, but there's a reason why they're leaders in the industry. As you can see so far, the only one that's really put out what it's supposed to so far is a TBS Race. So the last one we're going to get to is the Eachine TX03, and we'll go ahead and get it hooked up, and I'll be back in shortly. All right, guys, we're back with the Eachine TX03. It's all hooked up. It's been sitting here, and right now it's at 25 milliwatts. It also does 50 and 200, but at 25 right now, you can see it's putting out somewhere around 16 to 17 milliwatts. You start fanning it a bit and moving it around. A little bit of airflow will help it, but as it is right now, it just got plugged in and it's dropping quickly. So 15, 16, 17 milliwatts at its 25 setting. So we're going to go ahead and change it to its 200 milliwatt setting and see how it does there. Let it adjust. So at its 200 milliwatt setting, it's hovering around 150 milliwatts. You know, not off by a bunch like some of the other ones, but as you can see there, as it's heating up, it doesn't have a lot of printed circuit board area to disperse its heat. So it's heating up pretty quick and dropping milliwatts, unlike the TBS I tested in the beginning. So what I'm going to do now is call this testing quits. I'm going to go ahead and put the TBS back up here, make sure it's still hovering around the same to show you guys, and that's actually in my rig. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll also test its 25 milliwatts and see what it puts out. Alright guys, the TBS high volt race is powered back up, and as you can see, nothing's really changed, sitting at around 200 milliwatts like it's supposed to. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go into the OSD, go into the features, and we're going to go ahead and change the power down to 25 milliwatts. And as you can see right now, it's hovering around like what it's supposed to, premium VTX should, about 27 milliwatts. As you can see, it's not fluctuating too much at all, if any. So, you know, that's where your money's going, guys. You know, out of all 5 of these VTXs, the one that's going to perform like it's stated, like it should, obviously is going to be this one. Now, I've heard as well, ImmersionRc, the Tramp, you know, does pretty well, you know, as well. But, you know, it's pretty disappointed in the other VTXs. But, you know, then again, you know, there's where about, you know, 5, 10, 15 bucks will get you is something like this that's reliable and should do what it's supposed to do, or, you know, you get the others. So with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this video quits. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned some information, and if you did, please subscribe, like, and share this video, and leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the normal place below. And I appreciate you guys watching. See you guys next time.